Hi everyone, I'm Kristy Ella. I'm so glad you've joined me today. You know, we often talk about the big moments in relationships, the weddings, the moves, the arguments. But it's the quiet moments in between where we either grow together or start to drift apart. Today, I want to share Sarah's story. It's a story about the things we may not understand and how a moment of fate can open our eyes. I'm sure many of you have felt this specific kind of ache before. Let's listen to Sarah's story in her own words. People tell you that marriage is about compromise. They say it's about meeting in the middle, about learning to bend without breaking. What they don't tell you is that sometimes you compromise so much of yourself that there's nothing left to give. You start to forget the sound of your own laughter, the things that once made you feel alive. I remember feeling this way on a Tuesday night just a few days ago. David was humming in the shower and I was folding his laundry. The house was quiet except for the sound of water and his voice, muffled and distant. I picked up one of his shirts and for a second, I just held it to my face. Then suddenly, the shirt seemed to come alive as if it was trying to strangle me with a force that took me by surprise. The long arms of his blue shirt tightened around my neck. It was like time stood still. I was suddenly spinning, immersed with magical visions of how he used to make me laugh. He would make me laugh until I cried, and then when we'd talk for hours about nothing and everything. Then suddenly the shirt let go, the spinning stopped, like the movie ended. I started to cry, uncontrollable sobs that shivered through my whole body. Thoughts were racing through my brain. I realized I knew the scent of his detergent better than I knew his heart lately. I wondered when the space between us had grown so wide, and if I'd ever find my way back to myself. We were happy on paper. Our life looked gentle, even enviable from the outside. We went to dinner, we laughed at the same shows, we were kind. Every day, I played my part, smiling, listening, making sure everything ran smoothly. But inside, I was suffocating. The silence between us grew heavier with each passing day. I had been carrying this heavy secret. I wasn't happy with the life we had built, no matter how perfect it seemed. I wanted more adventure, more raw honesty, more of him, his real thoughts, his fears, his dreams. I longed for conversations that stripped us bare, for moments that felt wild and true. But every time I thought about saying it, I looked at his kind face and I'd swallow the words. I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't want to shatter the peace we had built, even if it was fragile. I didn't want to be the problem. But that night, as the steam from the shower filled the hallway, I looked at the blue shirt now lifeless. I looked at the laundry basket and realized it was a metaphor for our life. Always tidy on the surface, hiding the mess inside. Neatly folded, tucked away, smelling like artificial flowers. Everything in its place but nothing truly alive. Even the blue shirt that a moment ago stretched around my neck lay silently on the floor. I sat on the floor and just cried. Not because he was a bad man, he's a wonderful man, but because I was lonely in a room full of our history. The weight of unspoken words pressed down on me, heavier than any basket of clothes. I felt so confused. I realized that by trying to be the perfect, easygoing wife, I had become a stranger to the man I loved. My longing for honesty, for something real, was buried beneath layers of politeness and fear. And in that quiet, I wondered if he felt it too. Suddenly, I was renewed with energy, like something lifted me off the floor and guided me right into David's arms. Sobbing, I told him the story of his shirt, how it has strangled me, and how I didn't want to be strangled, and I didn't want to lose him. He looked at me with confusion, and then the love he always had. Gently cupping my face in his hands, he said, "Sarah, it's okay, my love. You're the blessing I will always cherish." In that moment, I knew I had experienced a blessing too. In that moment, I knew David and I would find our way back to each other. Before we go, I want to play a game to get us talking. It's called the Truth Box. Imagine there's a box in front of you that your partner will never see. What is one sentence you would drop into that box right now about how you're feeling? Write your sentence in the comments below. And I'd love for you to answer this. Have you ever felt like you were too much for your partner to handle, so you just stayed quiet? How did that change your relationship? I'll be down in the comments reading and responding to you all. I'm Kristy Ella, and remember, your voice is the most beautiful part of your relationship. See you next time.